What's up, guys, and welcome to Baltimore Reacts. Today we are reacting to Ellen. Sorry if I say your name wrong. Why I choose to live in complete solitude. I think I'll have some good insight for you, beings. Um, I've been an introvert a lot longer than you. This woman is an introvert, but she's just getting used to the idea, so she's got a lot of questions about it.
I am tired of being seen as a loner or being seen as a weak person for.
Oh, that right there, getting tired of being seen as a loner. That's like a bird getting tired of being seen as a bird. Introverts are loners. That's I mean, not all the time. Later on, when you get into who you are and getting used to being an introvert, that's less true. But there would never be a time when you're not at your core a loner. But accepting who you are is important.
For being alone. Like, loneliness doesn't have to mean that you feel bad about.
Yeah, but loneliness, English ain't her first language, so I don't know if loneliness and being alone, if that's really what she means. But introverts, we don't get lonely. It's being alone and being lonely ain't the same thing. Uh, Now, when you're real young and you're an introvert, you can think that you're lonely, but that's just you thinking that you're supposed to be around other people. Uh, you never do, and when you get older, you realize you never were lonely. So, yeah, there's just a stigma on it. That's all it is.
Your situation. Because, like, the older I get, the smaller my circle or my world has become.
That's
Because I have
natural.
cut out literally everything, okay? I have cut out work, high school friends, basically my whole family. Like, I am completely alone. But I
Welcome to being an introvert. Good work.
have realized, the more that I have thought about this, like, it was completely necessary for me. Otherwise, I don't know where I would be or how
Going insane. Yeah. We can't be around a bunch of people like that. We just can't.
I would even, like, exist. Because for me, trying to keep up with society was so extremely draining for me. I couldn't do it. I felt like I never fit in. I
That's because we don't fit in. We don't fit in. Society it orbits around extroverts, and extroverts have very shallow thoughts. Introverts have deeper circular thoughts. We get to thinking about things and how they work and why they work and all these different things. And extroverts, they just don't think like that. And so when extroverts get to talking about things, it's very shallow and it's very boring to introverts. That's why it feels like your social battery, in quotation marks, is getting drained. It's not that introverts have a social battery. We don't. We just don't like talking about boring things at all. That's what it is. So you think you have a social battery, you don't. You're just getting bored by shallow conversations.
I had to mask to be seen as normal because I have always been seen as the weird, like, shy kid, but I was just someone who didn't speak a lot. I
Now, introverts, we get our happiness from within. So, what it is seeing a lot of times is extroverts, like when they read a book, they don't hear a voice inside their head and they don't see a movie playing inside their head. And introverts do. And when introverts think they can hear a voice talking inside their head, like, I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to buy some bagels. An extrovert is not like that. So an extrovert will never sit around and do any kind of deep thinking because they really can't. Their thoughts are much more analog, where an introvert's thoughts are uh, like super complicated. And that's why introverts will be sitting around, self contained, because we are self contained. And they be thinking we're quiet or shy or something, but we're just, you know, entertaining ourselves. And they don't understand that because, they're not that.
I preferred to be alone. And I grew up with like extreme shame of feeling like I was left out.
You'll get past that. Yeah, introverts, we shake off that. That's a thing for young introverts. The older you get, the less and less you'll care about what people think.
And feeling like I was lonely. But it was only affecting me because of everyone else's perception of being alone. Everyone else shamed me.
Right, they say that you should be lonely and you should be around people. So you say, hey, they keep saying that, so it must be true. And you say to yourself, yeah, I must be lonely. But yeah, when you start thinking about it, you're not.
Me for, not having a partner, not having many friends, being alone on a Friday night. But for me, that was peace. For me, that meant that I could recover from just existing, okay? I am not like everybody else. I cannot.
You are, though, because there's a lot of introverts out there, and you're going to be similar to most of us. You'll realize that as you get older.
Have a bunch of plans in one day. Like even having one thing to do in a day, that drains me. I need to put all my energy into be able to do that thing because otherwise I will literally collapse. And even afterwards, depending on how much energy I put into that task, sometimes even days after I am extremely exhausted.
Right, because people are annoying. They have shallow conversations. They don't really think about others. They don't know how to walk in the grocery store. Yeah, just putting up with them is annoying. You'll figure out that it's just that people are annoying, and that's what's getting to you. And it's not that having things to do is what's taxing you, because once you accept what you are and have things to do at your house away from other people or with people who you have things in common with, then you're going to be cool. You see, I know that you've realized that there are some people that your quote unquote social battery doesn't run low on. Yeah, that's because those people aren't annoying. Yeah, so yeah, it's not that things tire you out. Like I can play video games all day long, or there's other things I do, not much, but at the house, away from annoying people, and I could do them all day long, and I do them all day long every day. Uh, yeah, and I'm sure you do too. You just are not. You are just thinking that these things are nothing because you're listening to society too much when they tell you that something is leaving your house and being around other humans. No, something is doing whatever you want to do. If that's sitting around your house watching TV, then, it's your life. Yeah.
And it's only lonely when people don't understand how you are feeling, or
Yeah, you got to get past that. Don't be worried about what other people understand because they don't. No. Um, Other people trying to understand you is just, long story short, don't be worried about that. Just understand yourself. Okay, don't be trying to make other people understand you. It's a waste of time.
when they don't even try to understand your struggle. And for me, that hurts me even more than being alone. And I never felt like people understood me as a person or my difficulties that I struggled with. So when I was around them, I was just like frustrated because I didn't feel like they truly even wanted to understand, you know? So for me, it was
I mean, the thing is that nobody wants to admit it, but for real, adults are selfish. Who wants to understand anybody? Are there people that you want to understand? Do you really want to understand all those people that you don't like, or do you just want them to change? That's the thing you got to do is think of it like that. And they think the same thing about you. They don't want to understand you. They just want you to change. Just worry about you, and that's the only thing you can change anyway, and then you'll be happy.
better to just not be around them anymore. And I have also realized that it's very telling about who truly cares about you.
Nobody does. The sooner you accept that, the happier you will be.
Because when I stopped like reaching out to my high school friends, like I stopped hearing from them. So that describes a lot, like who truly wants you around. Or
Yeah, as children, we get used to the idea of unconditional love. When you're an adult, I mean, it comes to be that there's no such thing. The only way you're going to have a real friend as an adult is if you go to war or something. Uh, you're in a real tough situation with another adult, and that kind of thing bonds you to another adult where you just have to watch each other's back, and things are so bad that the trauma just welds you to one another. uh, Otherwise you can forget about it, and for real, it's better if that doesn't happen, because if you make it out of that, then you'll know what a real friendship is, and then you'll never get it again because it doesn't happen outside of that. And It's not having it after you know what it is sucks. So yeah, just enjoy not knowing what it is. And this is adulthood here. Nobody cares about you but you. So be one with yourself and just take care of your own stuff.
Or who only wants you in order for them to not look lonely, you know? And I feel like that's the biggest thing in relationships and friendships nowadays. People only want friends to not feel alone and to not feel like there's something wrong with them.
No, that's not true. Extroverts they like to boost each other up, and they say they got this thing from the store, and they're like, "Ooh, ah, yeah, that's so nice," or you know, something happened during the day, or somebody said something to them, and your friend is like, "Oh, that mother," yeah, you just take your friend's side. If you ever do like if you started gaming and you made friends in gaming, you would try to be a good friend when they have an up or down. You take part in it whether you're really feeling it or not. Try to be a good friend, and that's what that is. It's not just about what you just said. It's that's what friendship is for most people. It's not about trying to not feel lonely. But anyway, yeah, as an introvert, mostly friendships for you is just going to be purpose based. Like it's something you're doing that you cannot do alone. So you must have another person to do it. And then, you must play the part of a friend to keep them coming back to it. Yeah, it's kind of evil, but I mean, what are you gonna do? Yeah, you have to pretend to be human, or else, you know, yeah, that's just introversion for you.
They don't really care about connecting with you as a person. They only want to look good for society. And to me, I cannot stand that. I would rather be alone than be around fake people and having to like fake having a friendship. Like I can't do that. And I see when people are fake like immediately. And to me that is extremely off-putting that like yeah, I would rather be alone. And even maintaining friendships is extremely hard for me. And
Yeah, it is because you be doing stuff and then they want to call you on the phone and interrupt what you're doing. That's why you gotta compartmentalize, your friends. That's just all it is to it because they're always wanting something. And if they don't serve a purpose, I mean, you got to move on. It seems kind of mean, but yeah, it's just too taxing for introverts. I mean, you got to accept what you are. You just do, or you'll never be happy.
it doesn't come natural to me. So I feel like a lot of brain like energy goes into just maintaining friendships. And I feel like nobody really talks about this. And I want to make this like less stigmatized. And
Well, you shouldn't worry about making things less stigmatized. I don't really care. About stigma, I don't care if people say I'm a horrible person, if I'm short, tall, if I have a big long nose. I don't care what people say about me. That's part of being an introvert. I'm just going to do what makes me happy, no matter what they say. Because you can do everything everybody says and they will still say bad things about you. That's the 100% truth about that anyway. And for another thing, as an introvert, you're just not going to care. The older you get, the more you realize that.
We need to feel like there's nothing wrong with us because it isn't. Everyone
Uh, uh, yeah, there's nothing wrong with you. You're just an introvert. That's right. And you'll feel like that as soon as you stop talking like this.
is different, and it's okay to have different needs, and to we all recover in different ways. And for me, it's to be alone and to process my emotions and all of the inputs that I have got throughout the day. I need that in order to be a functioning human. Otherwise, I will have a literal meltdown. Like, I am not kidding you. And yeah,
Yeah, welcome
at
to
least I
introvert
know
land.
my capacity. So, that's all that should matter. And we shouldn't put so much pressure on.
Yeah, don't worry about what other people put pressure on. Who cares? What if they put pressure on pancakes? Who cares? It doesn't matter.
On people for fitting into a mold. Like, who even decided on that mold? Like, why is
You decide on what mold. You're the only one who decides on what is what. All right, you decide who you're going to be, what makes you happy, and and whether or not you're going to try to live your life based on what makes other people happy. You decide.
extroverts more valuable than introverts? I do not get it. I don't understand. Of course, people like louder people because they are.
No, nobody likes that. That's a myth. They say things like, extroverts are a bigger part of the population, or things like that. All it is just like if you go into class and say, raise your hand if you're an introvert. Introverts aren't even going to bother raising their hands because they don't care if you know they're introverted or not. We just don't. You can take your little test and get bent. That's how we feel about it.
Are uncomfortable with the silence, I guess. They are uncomfortable with not knowing where we stand. Because if we don't talk a lot, they don't get like input on what we are thinking or
Well, one part about it is they don't have that, when they think they don't hear a voice inside their head. So that, what happens inside their head is uncomfortable for them as far as their thought process. So if there's not a constant running noise of jibber jabber, extroverts do not like that. So that's one thing about it. And you've never thought about that as an introvert because you've had that thought process your whole life. It's never occurred to you that somebody would not have that.
what we think of them. And that makes them uncomfortable and insecure. So of course, they like more outgoing people, but that doesn't mean that you can shame us for.
Why do you care if they shame you, Ellen, Eileen? Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, but why do you care if they shame you? It doesn't matter.
Not being like them. And I also had to be in extreme isolation because for me, when I was in school, like there was a lot of comparison and a lot of noise and so many external influences that I lost myself. I I needed to disconnect from all of the, mainstream lifestyle or goals that everybody had because I got like brainwashed into thinking that I wanted that too. Like whether it was relationships or uh, you know your work goal, like all of those things, money, status, everything, and the way that you should dress. I got so brainwashed from everything that I thought I wanted like what everybody else wanted, but now that I have truly been only around my own thoughts, now I realize that those things doesn't don't matter. And it truly,
Yeah, the further you get away from societal and programming and like the TV and the internet bombarding you with programming every day, and the more you're around your own thoughts and your own feelings and realizing that, hey, this feels good, so I'm going to go towards this, and hey, this feels bad, so I'm going to go away from that. The more you're going to have these realizations here, and see that's what happens when you get to spending time by yourself, and you become more who you are.
you truly meet yourself when you allow yourself to be alone with your own thoughts and without distractions. And so many people are afraid of truly meeting themselves. But I feel like it is necessary for everybody.
Don't worry about what's necessary for everybody. Yeah, that's yeah. Just think about you. Don't think about changing society as a whole. That's not going to happen. Just worry about you.
Because when you walk around and not know who you are, like, do you even know why you are reacting the way that you are? I don't believe so. And when you don't act in a way that's aligning with you, you walk around with this guilt and shame. And when you carry those feelings, you will just hurt other people in order to try to feel better about yourself. So I truly feel like being alone and meeting yourself is a necessary part of life. And I have been questioning myself a lot, like, is this isolation freedom for me or is it just avoidance? And I feel like it's a bit of both because
You should ask yourself if there's something wrong with avoiding things you don't like. If I touch an electric fence and it shocks me and, that's not pleasant, I'm going to take my hand off of it. I wouldn't say that I'm avoiding the electric fence and I'm being avoided. I would say that I'm being pretty smart and not shocking myself. That's what I would say. So, I mean, you do what you want to do, but yeah, I'm going to say, do I like this? Do I like that? Uh, if I eat some food and it tastes bad, that I may try it one more time. But for sure, if it tastes bad the second time, I'm not going to eat it again. I wouldn't say that I was being avoidant by not eating it a third time. You do you. If you know, it's all about doing the things that make you happy. Adding all this crazy astrological talk to just doing what makes you happy in life is nonsense.
I avoid people to because I feel like I have to, but also because I feel like I feel more freedom and I feel like I feel better about, like I feel internally I feel better because I can recover in my own time. It's less pressure on me, and so I don't know if it's just freedom or if it's avoidance, and that's a question that is constantly on my mind. And
They're annoying. Okay, that's all it is to it. They're annoying and you don't want to be around them. That's the same way I feel about it. Do I avoid annoying people? Yes. Yes, I do. Do I feel bad about it? Not at all.
it doesn't have to be one or the other, it can be both at the same time. So I didn't choose isolation because I hate the world. Like,
I hate the world.
I chose it because I needed to meet myself without anybody else's opinion and noise. And I needed to take a step back to actually meet the world from myself. Yeah. So I don't know. Have you experienced extreme isolation?
I wouldn't call it extreme isolation. I haven't like moved to the North Pole or anything like that. I ain't been kicking it with Santa Claus and all his elves or nothing. I would call that extreme. I wouldn't call hanging out at my house most of the time extreme. No, no, I wouldn't. I don't see a cave right here. I see a normal house back there. You don't look like you're living in a cave like a hobbit or anything. So I wouldn't say anything's extreme. I think you're letting other people label you. I don't know why. Probably just because you're young and you haven't gotten used to the idea of being yourself yet. But I'd try that on if I was you.
I'd love to hear about you from you. So write it in the comments and like, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.